Alright, hello and welcome to another new episode with your average gamer guy. This is Minecraft Feed the Beast. And this episode, we've got some fun stuff. We're going to finish up some Mine Factory. We might even get started on a Thaumcraft room because I can now get to where I wanted to put it. You may notice there are some trees over here. You also may notice I am at the top of a tree. Look at that. That's right. You may have seen them in some of the videos, but I never really talked about it. My base, obviously, is over there. And off in this direction, there were some of these redwoods. And so I I chopped them and got a bunch of seedlings, so I came over here and planted them because it's pretty easy and efficient wood source because it's a 4x4, which is my personal favorite, because you can carve a staircase in and just keep going up to the top. And I really like that. And they're nice and tall, and they're straight, and there's no branches. It just works out really well. So, and in addition to that, I have this really cool new power armor with the little axe attachment there, and that just makes getting the wood even easier. Probably should have turned up the axe. This is only about maybe halfway. But there was a time where I was somewhat low on wood, so when I went and got those, I knew these would take care of it. Now, you may be wondering, why is there a giant red grid all over the ground? Also, if you're planting redwoods, it takes 4 saplings, because there's 4 trunks, right? You know. I also recommend that if you do these, it's a quick staircase. If you've never seen it before, you just up 3, up a block, and then 3, up another block, 3, up another block, and you can carve a staircase all the way up to the top fairly quickly and efficiently, but I'll come back and finish doing that off camera. The red grid shows where monsters can spawn. That is by F7 by default on your Feed the Beast deal, and the reason I have that up is because I was just downstairs in a mine, and I have night vision as one of the enhancements to my power suit, which is finally done, and I threw a bunch of enchantments in there. A bunch of modules, sorry. I'm not done, but one thing, I won't show you how to make all of them and put them in there and everything, because really, sort of, the whole point of it is that it's modular, and you can pick what you want, and you should make your own choices as to what you value, and what you sort of, you know, the hierarchy of things you want. So rather than show you exactly what I did and how to make them and all that, I'll let you make your own decision. I will tell you, power is a prime concern. I went ahead and did the power first and made sure I had the primary power generation going so that I could get quite a bit. So that's what I prioritized, and then got my little updates and add-ons and whatnot. And I don't have all of them yet, but I have some of them. So one of them I have is night vision, and it makes it so that you can see at night. It's kind of self-explanatory, I suppose. But so when I'm downstairs in a mine or where my Steve's cart is, it's kind of hard to tell, like, hey, I don't have torches up and I can still see perfectly fine, but what if monsters can spawn here, and that would be bad. So F7 turns that on, and it makes it pretty easy. But outside, it's not really necessary because they can spawn everywhere. You'll also notice I'm currently holding my drill. That should be a good clue that I have not gotten the shovel and pickaxe upgrade on my power tool yet. I don't. This also draws power right from the power suit, so it's fairly smart that way. Now, I need to head back to my base because I want to put a rancher here. So we're going to go back there with my little jump boots and my glider. Pretty cool. It's no jetpack, but it's pretty awesome. I dig it quite a bit. Let's see the rancher. Oh, this is a composter. It's just a furnace, a couple pistons, some plastic, and a factory module. Very handy. That's the breeder. I think I actually threw the rancher in here. Yeah. Oh, I also built a charging pad. Because this armor requires energy, you can either take it off and put it in an MFE to power, Let's see. You can also see that it shows you right up here what the power requirements are. However, that's also where my program that records is putting the frame rate, so I can't really see that very well. But the charging station, if you just stand on it, it charges you. Rather than having to take your armor off and throw it into a MFE, you just can keep it on and stand on here and it'll charge. So that's pretty handy. This looks like nothing has been through here. That's kind of disconcerting. I moved this back because I was thinking maybe the advanced detector rail has an issue because it was so close to a slope. But my cart is not. What's supposed to happen is when it gets to an advanced detector rail that is next to a cargo manager, the cart is supposed to stop and interact and then continue on based on how you have things set. That is not what I wanted. And somehow there's a way. Ah, there we go. So I want to turn back after the transfer, and on this one I want to turn back after the transfer. Maybe that's part of the issue. I don't know. I'm getting kind of annoyed because it's hard to figure out. I've been trying some things and it's not working, so we'll have to see. For now, though, I have my rancher, I have my composter. Is there anything else I'm going to need? Yes. Let me grab some materials, and then I'll be back. Alright, and we're back. So, we have successfully got a rancher set up over here with, it took me a while, but I got about, I think, eight sheep, something like that. There were a bunch over in the jungle trapped in the trees. Jungles are kind of annoying because of all the trees, but then they're kind of okay because they trap all those animals, so it's kind of easy to get. That's where I got most of the cows and most of the sheep. They were just sort of trapped in the leaves, and that makes it a little easier to get them. And it's shearing them, you know, basically that's what it does. Every time this work bar goes down, it checks and sees, can it shear, and if it can, it does. So, there they go. I suppose, technically, I should probably put some sewage stuff over here. The sewage is here, and it's full, but it's using it fairly quickly. And it's producing industrial fertilizer. This fertilizer is fertilizer I made with some of the apatite I had. And you can see I have 3 fertilizers now. Oh, my stuff's out of... Well, I'll just show you. So I have 3 fertilizers with fertilizer in them, and every time this work bar gets down, it checks to see if there are plants, and if there are, it fertilizes them. So let's watch this real quick. That is definitely not what we want. So there it goes, and its work bar went, it fertilized the whole thing, and now the harvester, when its work bar gets to the bottom, it will check and harvest the whole thing. So it goes pretty quick, and it'll burn through that stuff, and that's okay. But this needs some more seeds. And I really need a way, I really need to pump seeds. Wait a minute. Oh, because the timer screwed up. That's right. I probably should make some sort of sorting machine maybe or something. Since I don't really want the timers over here because they did really screw up and crash my world a couple times. Since I can probably just take these filters back because filters are handy. And I've made several filters while these were just sitting over here not being used. So maybe a sorting machine. Well, sorting machines need power, but I could just put some power out here. Yeah, we'll have to see. So yeah. It took not a small amount of effort to get all that going. So I'm quite pleased with that it's all working as I would expect. I need a little bit of cleanup here. Let's put that away. Let's there's sand, and sand, stone, and some gravel, some regular stone, Alright, so rather than have you watch me clean up my inventory, which is what all I'm doing, I think it's going to be time to build a Thaumcraft room. I really probably should have started Thaumcraft a little earlier, but I sort of went with teching up a little first. Thaumcraft would have made some things a little easier at this point, but not so much so that I was wanting to go ahead and do it, obviously, because I didn't. So this little power glove is pretty cool. I'm digging that. But I think I'm going to put a Thaumcraft room maybe up there. That's what I'm thinking. So it'll take me a while to figure all that out. But I'll be back when I do. Actually, let's go check out my Steve's cart quickly before I head up there and do that off camera. And see what it's doing. So that's the export. Now the import doesn't look like it's got anything taken out of it. I think we're going to find a Steve's cart that's empty and just going back and forth. Man, I don't know what is wrong with this thing. If any of you happen to know or have encountered this in the past or anything like that, I would certainly appreciate it. Because, man, last time I used one of these, it worked just fine. Like, it got up to the little cargo manager, stopped, loaded and unloaded, no problems whatsoever. No, I don't want to. Power tool, really? And this is just like, it just wants to plow through the middle. Well, I guess, you know what? Let me follow this little guy and I'll see what he does. So anyway, I'm going to follow this guy and see if I can figure it out. There's no need for you to watch me follow that thing. Well, I guess we are right here. I'm curious to see if he even stops, or... I'm trying to think of all the things that could be wrong. It feels like maybe I forgot something like painfully simple and obvious. But that doesn't make any sense. Like, I got everything set up. What is he going to do? He's going to get up here, interact with him. He loaded the engine. He loaded the engine. But he didn't load anything else. Why would he not load anything else? Maybe if I change it to each color has its own slot? Maybe each side was screwing it up? Could that be? Ugh, so annoying. Anyway, alright. You guys are probably like, this crazy person doesn't even know how to use a cart. Oh, that's annoying. Every other time I've just set it up, I put a block right here, and it comes up, it interacts, it turns around, it goes back. It comes up, it interacts, it turns around, it goes back. This time they plowed through there because I didn't set it to turn around, which is fine, but it won't interact with the thing. Ugh, annoying. Anyway, alright. I'm going to go build a room, and I'll be right back. So for you guys, this will take almost no time. For me, who knows how long it'll take. Alright, I'll be back in a second. Alright, really quick, I did want to show one thing that I'm going to make. So this is a fabricator from Thaumcraft. So a crafting table, some engineering bricks, and some stone. I had engineering bricks from before, and we make a fabricator. So what the fabricator does, it's actually a pretty nifty block, I have to say. I'm going to stick one up there. Let's see here. And I'm going to get, I don't know, a bunch of stacks of cobble. And let's say I wanted to do this. Let's say I wanted to actually use a real recipe. Hold on a second. Let me find a real recipe. Okay, this time for real, now that I have actual stone instead of cobblestone, what you do with the fabricator is you take your recipe, you drop it in there, and it shows you, haha, I'm going to make 4 stone bricks. And then you just drop it in here, and it automatically just does it. So you can just throw all your stone in there, and it's just going to go ahead and make some stone bricks. So the fabricator is really, really cool if you are trying to make lots of one thing. Or if you have a need for an inline production thing. Thing's a good word. And it does pull from adjacent inventories. So I could put another fabricator here that was fabricating something from other inputs, and then this could take what the fabricator in that position would make and use it and its other inventory to fabricate whatever I set it to. So you could have a string of fabricators all combining materials, fabricating various things. It's a pretty neat system. So obviously we're going to be fabricating some stone bricks here. So I'll be, like I said, obviously my Thaumcraft room is going to be made out of stone bricks. So I'll be back when I've got some progress. Alright, and we're back. So, I believe I left you, and I was going to go and create something new and fun to do. I'll let that laser thing charge up. And it's been a while, and I've done a bit, I guess you could say. I did some exploring, because I needed some materials that weren't around here. I thought I needed to make some sticky pistons, so I went and got a bunch of, not a bunch, but I got some slime balls and made the sticky pistons, and then that's ended up not being quite what I wanted to have happen, and back and forth and back and forth. But we got some more materials. Luckily, we are a little better on the iron now. I was down to less than a stack, but I've managed to boost that up. I have found that with the power suit, it is really easy to run around, especially in the overworld, and just run through some caves and come back out again. With the night vision, it makes it really easy and everything. So, just trying to get this thing charged up here. So what I did was I made an area for us to do some Thaumcraft stuff. But first, we should probably look at the basics of Thaumcraft. And for that, I'm going to need, I believe it is 3 books. I want to make a bookshelf. 3 books, yeah. Come back through here, and we get a bookshelf. Awesome. Then I'm going to want, what do I have a bunch of? I guess these. I need that. I'm going to need, now you can use any color shard for what I'm going to do. It does not have to be green. It can be any color. Why am I still getting this? This thing right here had wood in it. Oop, not that. That's the plasma cannon. Yeah, if you're wearing the power glove thing, you want to be really deliberate about where you're clicking. I have several times accidentally shot. Not that this doesn't, this doesn't really damage anything. So you don't have to worry about that too much. At least as far as I've seen, I haven't really damaged much. But the up there one, if you crouch and use your selector wheel, so like instead of selecting on your mouse wheel, instead of selecting down there, if you crouch and do it, it switches between the plasma cannon and the blink. And the blink one will get you in trouble when you misclick, because you'll do that. And you'll just sort of like randomly, like, oops, I just teleported myself across the room randomly. So do be careful. Anyway, so what we're going to do... Oh, there's some sticks in there. So that's the recipe. a gold nugget, a stick, and any color of these crystals. And that gets you a Wand of the Apprentice. And we're going to get 2 of those. Now, you can see they currently hold V's down there. V's, Vis, however you want to say it. I think I say V's usually. And that is important. These will hold 50, and that is how you... That's the energy, if you will, for Thaumcraft. And so the first thing you want to do is make a Wand of the Apprentice and a bookshelf. And then you place the bookshelf anywhere in the world, use the wand, and right-click on it. And it turns it into a Thaumanomicon, which is massively important. If you right-click while holding it, all of a sudden you can see this whole new interface opens up. And there's all this stuff. These are all things you can research. And you don't know what they are, because you can't read it until you research it. And, in fact, these all lead to more things to research. There's stuff out here that you can't see yet because you don't have the basic research. But before we get to any of that, there are some things up here, like how to make a Wand of the Apprentice, or how to make a Thaumanomicon. Well, obviously we already know that, because we have it. There's also some stuff over here that tells you, hey, this is what these things are. So if you don't know what they are, read those. That will help immensely. But the first thing we made, Wand of the Apprentice, and then a Thaumanomicon. Well, now we need to make a table. So let's look at that. So that's wood and 3 slabs in a workbench. So let's come over here. Nope, it was this one. Let's do this. Oh, and apparently... Oh, luckily... I made pressure plates, not slabs. Well, that wasn't very useful of me. And I don't want to go down the ladder. Come on. Man. Alright. Let's try this again. Put you away. There we go. Well, let's grab a couple of those. And this. And 3. And we get a table. Awesome. Now, if we look in here, we can see that we're going to need some scribing tools as well. And we need... Ah, there it is. A research table. So, the research table is a very important part. It's where you do research. So if we click on that, we see what you do is you take 2 tables and put some scribing tools on it. So we're going to need more than 1 table. But if we look at this, an arcane work table is also a table. So what we're really going to do is get 3 of these. Because we need 2 for a research table and 1 for an arcane work table. Now, what else do we need? We need a crucible, which is a cauldron, and then you use your wand on it. So that's what that means. Whenever the wand is up here and has a little line, that means you use your wand on it. And if it says mystical construct, that just means you place it in the world. That's not a crafting grid. That's just place it in the world and it will work. So what we're going to need is about, if I remember correctly, about 5 iron. Not that. That's a minecart. Oh, we're going to need more than 5 iron, aren't we? Yep. There's no iron there, really. Not to speak of, at least. So I guess we need 7 iron. I made a minecart, not a cauldron. So a cauldron. Alright. So that's going to be handy. We're going to take that with us. What else are we going to need here? Ah, the scribing tools. So that's a glass bottle, a feather, and an ink sac. Now, let's see if we have that over here. A glass bottle. We do have that. How about a feather? Yep. And pretty sure there's an ink sac in here. Yeah, there's a number of ink sacs. Let's do that. So, no. Got all these little recipes set up in there that are just sort of handy. Alright, and some scribing tools. There we go. So that's easy enough. Enchantments. So there are new enchantments that you can read through here if you want. Glass files, if you don't have any, I found in some chests, but just 3 glass and a clay gets you 8 of them, so that's a fairly economical recipe. I recommend, if you don't know anything about Thaumcraft whatsoever, you have to read this stuff. It tells you what it is that you're supposed to be doing with this. Now, before we head over there, we're going to need... I'm going to take all of these with us. Take all of those and that. That's Quicksilver, Zombie Brains, and all of our crystals. I'm also going to go ahead and go... and put a stone there. Put a stone there. Put a stone there, and there, and there, and there, and there. Alright, now that our stuff's all filled up again, put this back. And then we're going to go see what I did for my Thaumcraft room. I'm kind of pleased with how it turned out. It took a while and a lot of cobblestone, so hopefully you also think it's pretty neat. It's not quite exactly what I wanted, but because of how I built it, I couldn't quite do what I wanted, so we'll see. So I built it over there. So, I didn't build stairs up because I have my little jump pack, so we're just going to jump up here. Those are, oh, you know what, I didn't show you guys these. These, and there's much more up there, are inverted lights from Thaumcraft. These are the light gray, I believe. They're pretty easy. It's any color of Zycordite, a couple redstone torches, a couple glowstone dust, and then your dye. And depending on the recipe's the same. All you do is change the dye to get a different color light. And they're pretty cool. They're pretty easy. It's not unlike these up here, except they take light gray Lumar and some glass panes. And Lumar is pretty easy. It just takes more of the dye, but less glowstone. So with the jump boots, I was easily able to take off to the nether and grab just a ton of that stuff. These are obsidian pressure plates, which are great because monsters can't open them. So there we go. Alright, so here's our little domed area. Put some wraith lights up here, so I just want it to be well lit. I probably went a little overboard with the wraith lights. What was supposed to happen is I was going to have some sort of like telescope deal coming out of here, just so it looked like a cool observatory or something. But when it's on an angle like that, you can't really build structures like what... Yeah, it just didn't work. So I had a really cool idea, and I spent a long time trying to force it to work, and it didn't. So, what are you going to do? Well, what I'm going to do is realize that I forgot to get some things. So I will be back when I grab just I need a couple buckets of water to make an infinite water pool. So I'll be back in a second. I'm actually, you can see right over here, I've already determined where I'm going to make my infinite water pool. So I'm just going to fill that up, and then I will be back. Alright, and we're back. And my infinite water pool, put that away. So one thing that you'll probably figure out right away is that there's going to be a lot of water from here into the cauldron. So you probably don't want to put your cauldron way over there. So I'll probably put my cauldron maybe... I could put it right next to it. But I think I'll put it maybe right here. Yeah, that looks good. Now, I want that to be a crucible, not a cauldron. So I'm going to right-click on it with a wand. And you can see the little magic symbol happens on all the sides. And that's how you can tell it is now a crucible and not just a cauldron. So let me take my bucket and get some water. And go ahead and dump water in there. And after a little bit, it should automatically just boil on its own, I believe. Or maybe you have to put stuff in it to get it to boil. I don't remember, but it'll happen. The other thing we need is where we're going to do our research. This looks like a pretty good spot for research. So that's going to be a table and a table. No, only one table. Or two tables. And then you take your scribing tools and go ahead and put those on top. And that turns it into a research table. And you'll notice the texture changed and it joined together and you get this stuff. So we'll look at that interface in a second. The other thing we're going to need, and you can see it sort of breaks sometimes, you know, when it's not quite, when they're not both on the screen, it only shows the one. We're going to need an arcane workbench, and that I think we'll put over here. And I believe the way you make that is you again just click on a table, and now it's an arcane workbench. And you can see that the wand goes inside it. You could take the wand out, but if you try and make anything, you have to have a wand in there. And when that wand is in there, there's a little graphic of it. So I'm just going to leave it in there for now. So what I did not grab are some chests or some other things I need. So let me go grab some of that, and I'll be back and show you a little bit about what you can do with Thaumcraft. Alright, so just threw down a couple chests just to throw some stuff in, because the stuff that's over here is a little bit unique from what's required elsewhere. So, and we threw down some random stuff. So one of the things that we're definitely going to need is some paper. I actually can just take all of that. And I'm going to go ahead and grab some cobblestone. And I think some torches. And I'm going to click on the writing desk. And so in the research desk, this looks kind of weird. But what you do is take the paper, and the paper goes down here. And then you take an item and you put it over here. And then these are called aspects, and they will show up, and then this button will light up. And you can click it, and it will try and start to research something. You can see it's started. You don't know what it is yet because you cannot read it. And you just keep clicking. And now you can see, the Fractus is in here, and it's 50% complete for Fractus. Still don't know what this is yet. Now you'll notice I now have 63 instead of 64. That's because as you research, it can use up this stuff. Which brings us to this button. This research table has two modes, cursory and thorough. Cursory is a lower chance to lose your item and a lower chance to gain research. Thorough, higher chance to lose your item. In fact, it's almost every time. But also higher chance to get research. So most of the time you're probably going to use thorough. I'll leave it up to you. I use thorough quite a bit. But, you know, your mileage might vary. So if we just keep using this, Saxum has grayed out, so we know that's not used in this recipe. Okay? And there. When it gets this little glowy box around it, that's how you know Fractus is 100% complete. Now you'll notice the research for Alumentum is not complete. It's still research notes. We still can't read this. So that tells us there's still something else in there. Like if we were to pull this out and look at it, we can't read it. That tells us there's something else that we don't have. I think that it's something here. Oh, it is not. In case you're wondering what this little glowy thing is, that means because of the environment that we are in, there is a bonus going on because of the environment. Okay, so we have done this enough now that it's gone ahead and said, hey, there's at least one more thing, just so that you can sort of try and figure out what it might be. Off the top of my head, I'm not certain what Alumentum is. This is where it can get kind of interesting and fun. If you're the type of person that likes... there it is. It was Potentia. If you like trying out all this stuff, this can be quite fun. If you're one of those people that is like, man, I don't really want to use up all my precious resources, you can certainly find recipes in other places. It just sort of depends on who you are. Now notice this Machina grayed out, but Potentia did not gray out. Well, that's because it's here. So it is in there, even though it's already 100% done, this still won't gray out. So do pay attention so that you don't use resources you don't need. This, I think, has a couple... I think the tree is left. I think we've just about covered it all. I hate using Quicksilver. Man. It can be frustrating trying to find the last thing. I wish there was, like, some sort of device or magic box or something you could make where it would, like, give you a hint or something. Because now I've run through all my materials, so I'm going to have to go try and find some more materials to bring over here and try and figure out what it is that I need. I thought I needed metal, but that has metal in it. Alright, so I'm going to go grab some more materials and bring them over, and then I'll be back. Alright, so it's netherrack. Netherrack is the other thing I need because I need Ignis, and netherrack is a great source because it has Ignis. So we're at 87, and there we go, 100%, and this went from a sheet to a scroll, and the name changed from research notes to discovery. So then you put it in your hand, and now you can read it. Substance throbs with fire and energy and is more than eager to release that energy at the slightest bump. It may be unstable, but it would probably make a good source of fuel. And then what you do is you right-click, and you learn Alumentum. So now, what we need to do is research some more. You have a lot of that you need to do. You know, there's a lot of research to do. So I'm going to continue to research some, and then I'll be back in a little bit. Okay, so we did get a spell that I actually want to use. It happened to be the very next one, Niter. And the way you use that, you click on it, it shows you what to do. So in the Crucible, that means you need to have these aspects with that amount in there, and you need to add 5V to get some Nidor. So how does all that work? Well, let's figure that out. So we're going to come over here. Why is this not... Do I actually need to put a fire underneath it? I didn't think I did. But I don't really remember. So let me try this. So what you do is you throw your items in there. No, you throw your items in there. Huh. Maybe you do have to light this on fire. Let me be back in a second. Alright, yeah, you do have to, you do have to put something on there to get it to light on fire, which is kind of annoying. For some reason, I was thinking that you didn't have to, specifically for the cauldron, but you do. Or for the crucible, I meant. So what you want is you want that to start to happen. That's it boiling. And then you're going to take your items and just go ahead and toss them in there. So we're going to need, no, not all those torches. My netherrack. So that was the torches. I guess I should explain, right? The torches have 2 lumix and then also that little herb thing. And then I'm going to need 8 netherrack. The netherrack had another one of the elements, and 4 of those. Now, you'll notice the torches had some extra stuff in there. That is still going to be in there, and when we click on this and get our Nitor out, the rest of the aspects that are not used are going to be released into the environment as what's called flux. So what that means is that every area, which is like an indeterminate amount of space, has a node somewhere that we currently cannot see. And that determines how much magic V's is in the area. So when you bleed aspects into the environment, it creates what's called flux, and it temporarily lowers that. And in order to get rid of flux, the environment will automatically do things. To get rid of low levels, it will spawn wisps, which are little tiny glowing dots. I think we've seen 1 or 2. And they're really hard to kill, and they're annoying. To get rid of larger amounts, it will spawn thunderstorms and lightning and worse things. So we're going to let a little bit in there, but at the beginning there's not a lot you can do about that. So we have all of the aspects in there we need to make 2 Nitor, and then we just need to add the 5 Vis each, which is 10, obviously. So we're going to take our wand, click on the crucible, and you saw the 2 little Nitor popped up for a second there, and now they're in my inventory. And we need to just go ahead and use our bucket and refill that. So, what do Nitor do? Well, you'll notice I have all these fancy lights in here already. But if I didn't, I could use these as a light. So it's like a cool little glowy light thing that just hangs there. Pretty spiffy. I like it. Maybe not right there. But it's pretty cool, I think. So we might put those maybe outside. Maybe like on either side of the door. Yeah. So, come on. That's the basics of the research and how to create something. There's a lot. There is a whole lot in here, and we're not going to touch on all of that. I'm going to do a bunch of research. Most of the research I do is going to be off camera, because again, half the fun of this is either figuring it out yourself, if you like, you know, and I don't want to ruin that for somebody. The first time or two I did it, which I think was Thaumcraft 2, I did it all on my own, and it was pretty cool. I think I did use the internet a little bit to figure out, like, well, what has what aspects, so that the research was a little different in Thaumcraft 2. But, you know, to each their own. If you want to use the internet, feel free. There's lots of guides and videos and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, so I'll show you the things that I can do with it as I research them, but not necessarily the specific research that gets you to it. So, yeah, that's where we're going to go with Thaumcraft for now. So I've got some other things to take care of, so I will be back in a bit. Alright guys, it looks like we're pretty much at that time. We're at about 42 minutes or so, and I think that's a little long. I keep continually going about 12 minutes over, so I apologize for that. I like to keep you around a half an hour. That seems like a good amount of time for watching. So that's going to do it for this episode. Next time I think we're going to try and go for a little more reliable automated mining, perhaps. Maybe a quarry in our future. I think I might be able to afford that. We'll have to see. So, until next time, this is the Average Gamer Guy. Have a good day.